Senator Schatz.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Chair and Vice Chair, and to the Lilly family. Thank you for your presence, and I'm sorry for your loss. I want to follow up on the 3,200 or so grants frozen. I understand that if the award has been made and the money has been obligated, that you're not freezing those dollars. You are pausing for review. I'm trying to get the terminology right. Post-announcement, pre-obligation to kind of pull out those things that you consider to be extraneous to transportation. Am I characterizing that about right?
Well, there's no freeze, but yes, we're
Pausing
talking
for review. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not pausing with this. So what it kind of just
Sure.
So what I'm doing is as I'm crafting the grant agreement, some of the language that was required in the NOFO, it's easy. We just don't put it in the grant agreement. So it's not a pause. It's not a freeze. It's just we've taken the language out for the grant agreement.
Sure. Good news, bad news, right? You're characterizing this as easy, not terribly controversial. It's a new administration. You are within your rights to modify grant criteria, certainly before the money is obligated. I understand all that. The problem is time, right? We are about 4 months into this, or a little less than 4 months into this, and there are a bunch of things that are just like plainly not climate, right? Evacuation routes, like hillside stabilization. And so my more basic question is, I know you care about metrics. I know your team is trying to metabolize all of these. What's the throughput capacity of the department to get these 3,200 grants reviewed and obligated and out? Is it 300 a month? Or excuse me, 300 a week? Do you think you're going to be done by June? What's the time frame? Because it's a little bit of a black box. This is information. This hearing is useful because it gives us some reassurance that, they're not actually stopped. But I think it's fair for our state departments of transportation to kind of know it's going to be June before it's done. It's going to be next week. It could be later this year. Can you give us a sense for timing?
So I appreciate the question, and I think that's a really good question. So that I've told you we've done over 400. At this pace, which I'm proud of the pace that we have done thus far, it is not fast enough. If again, this is going to take us multiple years at this pace to get it done. So that is unacceptable. And I have countless meetings every week about how we can speed up the process to get more money out the door, more grant agreements done. So I take your point. I'm proud of the work we've done so far, but the mission is to pick it up dramatically.
Yeah, and at some point you run into a potential, even if it's inadvertent, you run into an impoundment issue, right? You have to spend these dollars, and especially since the grant awards were given and the state departments of transportation, sometimes county departments of transportation, they have to spend money to gear up for contract management. You've got staging costs, so this is not free to do. So I just really do encourage you not just to pick up the pace as a sort of generic proposition, but to get back to members of the House and the Senate on a bipartisan basis to say, this is where we're going to get and by when. So speaking of which, I want to cover one other thing in the kind of, I call it de-wokeifying stuff.
Can I just, on the impound, like I'm not trying to impound anything.
I know you're not.
I'm trying, so if there's money that's about to run out, I'm trying to move that, I'm trying to elevate that and move that more quickly so you don't lose dollars.
Sure, and you and I had a brief conversation about bikes.
Yes.
Okay? And then the department issued additional guidance on bike infrastructure. And this is like I don't even ride a bike particularly often, but I just think it's a little nuts that bikes have become some sort of like climate priority, and therefore people who are right of center are like, bikes are a climate thing. Bicycles are bicycles. Everybody rides a bike. Kids ride bikes, families ride bikes. Every community, rural, red, purple, blue, should have a safe way for people to ride bikes. Can we please take the question of utilizing bikes safely out of whatever fight we're going to have on a partisan basis about climate policy?
So I don't see bikes and climate together, but I like bikes too. Bikes are wonderful. My kids ride them.
Okay, can you review the additional sort of restrictions or scrutiny that some of these bike projects have gotten?
So can I explain my concern about if there was some of the requirements in the last administration was, are you adding bike lanes and walking paths to your construction project? Like, that's what they wanted to see. And if there's some places across this country where we don't need bike lanes, why are we adding bike lanes onto what should be, just roadways?
No one wants to ride a bike. I
Right, yeah,
get it.
so
But hold on,
go ahead.
because I am out of time, and there's a vote and some other members who want to talk. But the problem here, right, is everybody understands how this was done, which is you have so many thousands of contracts, people controlled F for certain words. And so some bike projects are just bike projects. Some projects are adding criteria to a rail or pedestrian or car project to say, and also there's this new requirement. But it's such a blunt instrument that you're blocking stuff that I think you and I, on a common sense basis, would say, yes, we should do it. And I just want one more question, which I'll get out and take for the record. But again, on timeframes, and let's get some specificity. You got to do a bunch of things to upgrade the air traffic control system, including and especially the telecommunications upgrades. If you could give us both some fidelity on costs, what you anticipate asking the Congress for, and also specifically the time frame for resolving the Newark issues, whether that's weeks or months or whatever. I just think the traveling public needs to know exactly what that's going to be. Thank you.
If you want to call, I'd be happy to talk more about bikes. I don't think we're that far away on bike and bike usage.
I don't think we are. I just think in the execution of some of these procedures that we're talking past each other.
Very well. Thank you.
Senator